and welcome back to the Mindful Model Makers area where we're making things at the moment. Now, what I'm doing at the moment, this is something that was given to me by my son. Now, these are overlays. I've got no idea how old they are, but very old, I think. And the idea was that they went on to flat sides of either coaches, or you made up the coach yourself, I believe. I don't know fully. But anyway, what I've done, because I'm doing something completely different, I didn't want to mess up the originals. So I cut the originals to how I wanted them, and then I set them up on a scanner bed on a printer. And what I did then was I copied them. So I copied them, and then when I printed them on a photographic paper. So this is what I got from that. So it's got a sheen to it. So I worked out all the various ones I want and printed them on a photographic paper. It's quite a nice thick, and it's glossy. Now the next thing I should be doing is getting this universal professional enamel spray, and I will open the windows when I do it because it does smell. And the thing is, don't do it, give it a blast and leave it in one place. Very light airing across. I would probably put newspaper so it doesn't go over everything else. And give it 2 or 3 coats of that. Now what that will do is set it, because obviously the ink that's in that printed this is water based. So what I want to do is seal it. And then once that's dry, I will cut these up using a proper scalpel and then glue them onto the coach. Now I've already started preparing the coaches. A lot of people have said to me, why don't you just put it over the windows? Well, they don't really match the coaches, and that isn't really the idea. This is one here that I cut this from an original, but I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use the copies that I made. So that will go on something like that onto the coach, and obviously it won't be this, going to be one of these, because this is one of the 2 middle coaches that will go on. So these are not driving, these are just purely for passengers. So that will go on. I'll work out roughly where it's got to go, cut it, cut there, and then the same the other side, and then do the same on the other middle coach. The coaches that I will have the motor coach on will be this one, and obviously it will have the cab end on there. So the other side will have the same but opposite. So yes, and then the other end a similar one on the other end. So it'll be 4 coaches altogether. I want to use these old coaches. Yes, you could make up, I could just get some board of some description, either put on the base plate or whatever, use the roof. But I want to use these because the idea is I want it on my Hornby 00 3 rail layout, and I want to run old stock on there. But all I want to do is change the look of the old stock to turn it all into suburban units. So I may have some juice units or electric units, and I will probably have some DMU diesel units on there as well. So eventually, when I built the layout, it will only run multiple units, either electrical or diesel. And that is the plan, because there's nothing like that out there. That's roughly what it'll look like. So I don't think, to be quite honest, that looks too bad. Yeah, I know it's not right, but none of this is right anyway. If I wanted to build an exact replica of a core, then I would get a proper kit and make the whole thing exactly. But I'm not. That isn't my purpose. My purpose is to make something that just looks like, represents that, and when it's running around, the idea of it's clattering around, making the noise as it goes around, and if you've got several of these going in different directions, then it will give that atmosphere of what it was like in, say, the 30s, when all these stock were running around. Obviously, as the years have gone on, there are lots of variations. In fact, there are so many variations, it's unbelievable. But yeah, that's the plan, and that's what I'm up to at this moment. So later on, I will start to give the ones that I've done on the printer a couple of coats of the enamel, and then tomorrow perhaps a final coat. And then once that's set, leave it overnight. I will then start cutting them out, and then I will start putting them on. So these are the originals that are laying here. That's an original sheet. Now, I believe if you really want these, you can join the Hornby 00 Society, and they do overlays on there. There are various people that do various bits for Hornby 00, and they will have overlays if that's what you want. You occasionally get some that are on eBay. I've just bought a pair. These are slightly different. These are a plastic, kind of a celluloid. They feel like a film, really. But I've got these in blue because when I drove on the railway, the units were a blue with a yellow front, which was in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s. The units that I drove, EPBs and all the others. So I will probably at some point build another 2-car EPB using these overlays, because they're very similar. They're the right colour and all the rest of it, and so that's something also for the future. But that's totally different. Like I say, they're a kind of a celluloid. It feels like a 35mm film is the nearest I can say, whereas these are paper and printed. But again, I think I've reproduced them pretty well. So these are mine, and there's the originals underneath. And yeah, it took a bit of fiddling around on the printer, but I got there. And of course you can then save that file, and you can print off as many as you want if that's what you want. So yeah, because like I say, I would like to preserve the original anyway, in case somebody else wants to copy some. But now I've got the file on the computer, I can just print off as many as I like. Anyway, so that's where we are on that. And as time goes on, it won't be long before I've got 2 of these coaches, the middle 2 coaches, ready to run. And obviously the end pieces take a bit more time. I've now got both motor bogies, so and I've got both cabs, so it won't be long before they're fitted on the end. And we've got a 4-car core unit running around. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Please subscribe, and if you like, please give us a like. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much. Bye now.